And I looked up, I seen a whole bunch of smoke, and I seen a guy in full army fatigue just shooting, going from left to right, just shooting people. And I thought it was an act at first, because that's nutty to see. And then I seen a security guard run inside, and then I seen a guy go in after him, shooting, and I heard 20 to 30 shots. And I'm like, oh, this is for real.
At least 10 people have been killed today in a mass shooting at a supermarket in Buffalo. It happened at the Tops Friendly Market. Details are still coming in, but police say a gunman has been taken into custody.
The shooter was not from this community. In fact, the shooter traveled hours from outside this community to perpetrate this crime on the people of Buffalo.
Good evening. We know 10 people were killed, 3 others injured in this mass shooting. 11 of the victims said to be African American. Officials are calling this a racially motivated hate crime. The shooter, a teenager, allegedly traveled hours to Buffalo to commit this heinous act. The suspect live streamed the shooting on social media.
Carnage at a neighborhood grocery store in Buffalo, New York leaves the community in turmoil.
It's unbelievable. I'm lost of words.
18 gunmen wearing body armor and military-style clothing opened fire at a Tops Friendly Market Saturday afternoon. Dozens of shots were fired. The mass shooting happening in a predominantly black neighborhood.
This was pure evil. It was straight up racially motivated hate crime.
Authorities say the suspect, 18-year-old Payton Gendron, traveled 200 miles and live streamed the shooting on Twitch, a social media platform used by gamers. This video of the suspected gunman as he was arriving to the store.
He exited his vehicle. He was very heavily armed. He had tactical gear. He had a tactical helmet on. He had a camera that he was live streaming what he was doing.
The gunman shot 4 people outside in the parking lot before entering the grocery store. In total, 10 customers and store employees were killed, including a retired police officer working as a security guard. The city's mayor calling the tragedy a nightmare.
This is the worst nightmare that any community can face. And we are hurting and we are seething right now as a community.
Police took Gendron into custody, describing him as an 18-year-old white man. Sources say there is a purported manifesto linked to the shooting suspect that is under review. Authorities would not confirm that, but say the mass shooting is being investigated as a violent extremism hate crime. Late Saturday, the suspect, stripped of his tactical gear, appeared in court wearing a hospital gown and was arraigned on first-degree murder charges.
It is my sincere hope that this individual, this white supremacist who just perpetrated a hate crime on an innocent community, will spend the rest of his days behind bars.
This morning, we're continuing to follow a deadly mass shooting out of New York. Police say 10 people are dead after a teenager opened fire in a Buffalo supermarket. Michael Wooten has the latest for us this morning.
Around 2:30 in the afternoon,
possible active shooter at the top. There are still shots being fired.
At a place where we feel safe.
Put as many cars as you possibly can.
The deadliest mass shooting in Buffalo history.
This was pure evil.
Inspired by white supremacy, authorities say the shooter drove here from his home 3.5 hours away in Broome County.
This tragic incident by someone who is not a part of our community, does not live here.
Police say he drove up to the Tops Market on Jefferson Avenue armed with a semi-automatic rifle and wearing body armor.
He exited his vehicle. He was very heavily armed. He had tactical gear. He had a tactical helmet on. He had a camera that he was live streaming what he was doing.
After shooting 4 in the parking lot, killing 3, police say he entered the supermarket.
Beloved security guard, who was a retired Buffalo police officer, a hero in our eyes, engaged the suspect, fired multiple shots, struck the suspect, but because he had heavily armored plating on, That bullet had no round.
The police commissioner says the suspect then shot and killed that retired officer, identified as Aaron Salter, allowing the rampage to continue. In all, 9 were shot inside, the total death toll rising to 10 before patrol officers arrived on scene and convinced the suspect to put down his gun and surrender. While motives are often elusive this early in an investigation, the Erie County Sheriff said that is not the case here.
It was straight up racially motivated hate crime from somebody outside of our community, outside of the city of good neighbors, coming into our community and trying to inflict that evil upon us.
Investigators are reviewing the live stream of the attack and a racist manifesto published online. Sources say he etched the N-word into one of his weapons.
We are investigating this incident as both a hate crime and a case of racially motivated violent extremism.
That falls within the FBI's counterterrorism division, the feds assisting local police.
Whatever we need, we will not stop until justice is brought to this community, those families, and the victims of this horrific crime.
The U.S. attorney asked for peace amid the horror.